wrong.
All paws on deck with Ryder and the crew as they set sail in an all-new live stage show. Paw Patrol Live, The Great Pirate Adventure, presented by Pedigree. X sparks the spot in this exciting, action-packed live show full of singing, dancing, and patrolling the high seas. For more information on how to join the heroic pups, you can go to PawPatrolLive.com. Playing Eagle Bank Arena February 2nd through 4th. Tickets at PawPatrolLive.com.
It's like you're not really thinking about anything, you're just trying to not get shot.
Carjacked a block from the National Cathedral, and the criminals are still out there tonight.
And the flu season is deadly and growing worse. What doctors say you need to do now to keep your family safe.
And the ad you won't see on Super Bowl Sunday, why the NFL rejected this one from a veterans group.
Now, ABC 7 News at 11, on your side.
It was a terrifying carjacking just feet from the National Cathedral, and tonight there is an all-out manhunt for the criminals responsible.
This as we hear from the man who had the gun pointed right at him. Tim Barber spoke with him tonight. Tim?
Well, this guy was just sitting in his car near the National Cathedral when all of a sudden these guys started banging on his window, dragged him out of the car, and threw him on the ground. Helicopters, police dogs, and crime scene techs spent Monday night searching for the armed robbers who carjacked a man near the National Cathedral, then crashed the stolen car into another car 10 miles away.
It was terrifying. And in those moments, like, you're not really thinking about anything, you're just trying to not get shot.
The victim does not want to be identified because the robbers are still on the run. And he did get a good look at him because one of the robbers pressed a silver handgun against the victim's head while the others rummaged through his pockets.
I was just kind of sitting there, like, kind of yelling, like, don't, like, I don't have any money on me.
Then something scared the robbers away. Two ran off, one of whom fired a gun in the middle of the street.
Really panicked because I didn't know if they were going to shoot back at me or I didn't know where the shot came from.
The third robber hopped in the victim's white Subaru and sped off until a police officer spotted him later in southeast Washington. The carjacker sped off again and then crashed into another driver.
Just kind of heard a shot, laid on the ground, and waited for it all to end.
Although the three robbers are still out there, the good news is that no one was hurt. Reporting live in Northwest Washington, Tim Barber, ABC 7 News.
Developing now, there's new information tonight about a shooting at a Kentucky high school that killed 2 people. Tonight, the county attorney says that he will ask the 15-year-old responsible in the shooting to be tried as an adult. Witnesses describing him as methodical, shooting bullet after bullet as students were running for their lives.
I saw there was a lot of blood everywhere, and then people were getting shoved down, and so I just, I took off. I started running. I was scared for my life.
Community members gathering tonight to remember the 2 lives lost, a boy and a girl, both just 15 years old. More than a dozen others were wounded. 5 of them remain in critical condition. And new tonight, a bill to allow guns in church passed the Virginia State Senate. Right now, guns are banned in places of worship during religious services. The legislation is in response to last year's shooting at a Texas church, that one where 24 worshipers were gunned down. Governor Ralph Northam says he will veto that bill if it does make it to his desk.
Well, we have new developments tonight in the Russia investigation. Special counsel Robert Mueller now wants to question President Trump. He reportedly wants to ask the president about the firings of Michael Flynn and FBI Director James Comey. It suggests Mueller's investigation is now expanding to include possible efforts to interfere in that special investigation. This, as we also learned, Mueller questioned Comey and Attorney General Jeff Sessions about possibly the Russian meddling in the election. Bill.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Allison. Let me show you what's going on out there numbers-wise. We got to 68 degrees today. Now we're in the 40s, which by themselves still very mild for this time of year. But our story tonight is going to be how much cooler it gets this evening and tomorrow. Winds not quite as strong right now, blowing up to about 15 miles per hour. And the showers, the storms that came through earlier today, they were long gone. And we're expecting a pretty dry trend. So out the door in the morning, we're going to see these temperatures down into the 30s. There will be some of you that get below freezing. Not everybody, though. You get around the district inside the Beltway, probably a 35, 37. Again, cooler than it was today, but it will be a little bit at or slightly above normal. We'll talk about the specifics there, look ahead to our next weather maker, and a little bit of a warm-up again. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Yeah, then we had a little bit of rain in our commute this morning, but they had ice in Massachusetts, and look at this. It led to this scene, a school bus sliding all the way down an icy road, slides over a mailbox, only comes to a stop after it hits that car. Thankfully, it did. 29 children were on board the bus when this happened, but luckily nobody was hurt. Quite a ride.
That is so scary.
Yeah.
And tonight, police are trying to determine why a person hit and killed by a train was standing on the tracks. SkyTrack 7 was on the scene in Gaithersburg this afternoon. It happened along the Brunswick line tracks. The line is open west of Rockville, and last we checked, there are delays due to single tracking.
New at 11 o'clock, police were called to investigate a noise complaint about dirt bikes in Howard County. It ended up making a huge drug bust, but the man arrested is telling a very different story tonight. Tom Rousey joining us live with what he had to say. Tom?
Jonathan, police say that the noise complaints were coming from the Owen Brown neighborhood here in Columbia, and they say their investigation led them to an allegedly stolen dirt bike. It also led them to a home down Hickory Log Circle here where they found a lot of other stuff. But one of the men charged, he's telling a much different story.
Howard County police say in November a man tried to sell this dirt bike after posting an ad on letgo.com. He met with 19-year-old Deshaun Reed, who allegedly asked to test it and then rode away. Last week, police broke in the door, executing a warrant at a home Reed often stays in. They say they found the bike, plus marijuana, ammunition, and 70 vials of suspected crack cocaine.
They don't even got evidence that I stole the bike.
He says he paid $800 for it, and if it was stolen, it was before he got it.
They could have just told me that dirt bike is stolen, and I'd have just gave him the dirt bike.
As for the marijuana,
I actually do smoke, so some of the marijuana was mine.
But he says he's no dealer. As for the crack, Faik Mateen is facing charges. He's a relative of Reed's girlfriend, Zakia Jihad.
He doesn't live here, so why would he come and plant these drugs here and just leave about his business?